So hello everybody and welcome to Kagyu Samye Dzong Edinburgh on Earth Day 2021. And I would have hoped that we could have had more people here to be actually here in person, but we do have a few stalwarts, so that's great. And the upside is that, because we're online, thanks to YouTube, it means that many more people can join us for this special day. So wherever you are in the world, you might be just around the corner, or you could be over any of the 7 seas, the oceans. We're all neighbors on this planet, near or far. We're all neighbors because this planet is our home. In fact, you could say we're housemates in a way. So this planet is just so amazing. It's so beautiful, and it gives us everything that we need. Maybe not everything we want, but certainly everything that we need. It gives us the rich earth for the food that we need to eat. It gives us pure water that gives us life and sustains us throughout our lives. It gives us the very air that we breathe, without which we couldn't be alive. Every single breath we take is because of the atmosphere around planet Earth. So these are the most precious resources that sustain our lives and the lives of all sentient beings. And yet, we take it all for granted because, they say familiarity breeds contempt, and it's true. We get familiar, then we take things for granted, and then we forget how valuable they are. And instead we get bedazzled by our wants, by this and that, and whatever the people are trying to sell us, basically. So because we take it for granted, then we end up, and in pursuit of the things that we want, we end up mining, we end up polluting the earth, we end up polluting the seas, the water, the rivers, and the very air. Our air is, in fact, just yesterday I heard that the first time in the UK anyway, was somebody actually had on their death certificate, it was a little girl as well, due to air pollution. So this is very, very much with us. And yet, we're spoiling it all. Mother Earth has had a lot to put up with, especially in the last 100 years or so. And we're like these selfish children that take. And we're supposed to be intelligent human beings, the highest life form human beings. And yet, this is how we treat our Mother Earth. It's crazy. This is not intelligent behavior at all. It's really stupid. So, we need to turn things around, don't we? We've pursued our wants because of and ended up messing up what we really need to be alive. However, I'm not going to rant on about it because I'm sure that because you've come to the Earth Day celebration that you're probably already aware of all this. And there are good signs that we are starting to wake up at last. I know today, for example, there's President Biden is giving an international conference. Thank goodness he's in power now. So a sign for better things to come. But we all need to come together. So the politicians, the scientists, the environmental activists, the faith leaders, and the grassroots communities around the world, we all need to come together. This is a global initiative. It has to be. To save the world, we need the world. We need to take action, not guided by selfish opportunism, which has often guided our actions, our unwise actions in the past, and got us into this mess in the first place, but guided by our innate wisdom and loving kindness and compassion. So when we're guided by those good qualities, then we can accomplish so much. And where do we find these noble qualities? In our own hearts and minds. It doesn't cost us anything. It's one thing to to sort of have an intellectual understanding of the problems and think about what the possible solutions. But until we really take it into our hearts, it's not so much experience, and we don't really get the full kind of power and energy. So this is what I'd like to experience with you today, because you can read up about all the things that have gone wrong and what we can do to put it right. And there's a lot of information out there which I would definitely encourage you to check out. But I think what would be good for us today would be to celebrate the earth, our mother, and to practice accessing our own wisdom and our own loving kindness, so that there's heart and mind working together. And so I think we can take a little time now to just listen to the quiet voice of our own wisdom and compassion. Because sometimes it gets drowned out by all the stuff that's going on outside, and our attention is very often focused outwardly, and then we miss our own wisdom and compassion. So by turning inwards, we can hear that voice, and we can be guided by it. And I'd like to do this particular practice. It's called Tonglen. Tonglen meditation means taking and sending. Taking and sending meditation. So I'll guide us through it, because some of you may not have done it before. And first of all, as with any meditation practice, you need to straighten up your posture. Make sure your back's straight, and imagine the top of your head like the top of a tree growing upwards. So your spine, from the base of your spine all up through your body, up through your neck, and then your head resting on the top, and then imagine the crown of your head reaching upwards to the light, as if you're growing. And that's a very kind of organic way of straightening out the back, so it's not stiff, it's flexible. And just let everything settle, let your body and mind settle. Either have your hands resting on your knees or in your lap. If they're in your lap, then the right over the left and the thumb tips touching. Let your eyes rest, looking downwards. Keep them open. We want to be awake and alert, resting and relaxed, but alert. So best to have your eyes open. Otherwise you get drowsy, and it's not good for your awareness. So we'll start with counting 21 breaths, because the breathing, the breath, and the mind are very much interrelated. And so by counting 21 breaths, and by that I mean one breath in and one out, that counts as one, and then we just do that cycle for 21 times. And then we will, by that time, hopefully our minds and bodies will be settled and relaxed and aware. So we'll start breathing in, and just relax your belly, relax your diaphragm, so your whole body's breathing, not just your lungs, but your whole body. Take your time, no need to rush. And just count in under your breath to 21 internally. going to say a short prayer to our spiritual guide, our teacher, our root guru, our lama, or if you don't have a root guru, then the Buddha, or anybody that you trust with your spiritual welfare. O glorious, precious root lama, above my head on a lotus moon seat, you care for me with great kindness. Please bestow the siddhis of body, speech, and mind. Then visualize your spiritual teacher or the Buddha coming down into your heart, in your heart center, resting there, radiating peace, loving kindness, compassion, merging with your heart, filling your whole body. So you become radiant. And then imagine you could take on the sufferings of the people who are close to you. Maybe you could start with your mother or whoever's most close to you. Think of anyone who you're close to who is suffering, and that you could take on their suffering into your heart and into the heart of the Buddha, where through the power of wisdom and compassion, all the suffering can be transformed, completely purified and transformed. When you take it in as suffering, it's like dark, you can visualize it a bit like dark smoke. And then when it becomes purified and transformed, it turns into brilliant, clear light, luminous light of wisdom, loving kindness, and compassion, which radiates out from your heart and back to the loved ones that it came from, and they in turn become radiant, transformed into peace and happiness. And then think of all the beings in the town where you live. Some of them you know, many of them you won't know, but you can just imagine them all. And imagine their sufferings. You know, the ones that you know, you may know what particular things they're suffering with. Right now, in the time of COVID, there's a lot of that about. And also people you don't know, the homeless people you might pass on the street, all sorts of people that are not just people, animals, any kind of sentient being. Imagine all the suffering coming into your heart like this dark smoke, and into the heart of the Buddha, where through the power of his wisdom and compassion, which is merged with your heart, again the sufferings become purified. And visualize it as light and warmth glowing in your heart and radiating out again to the whole town, all the people in it, all the life forms. And imagine it touching everybody in the town, every type of person or being. Imagine them becoming happy and joyful because of it, free of suffering. And then imagine the whole country, wherever you live, the whole country, all the beings in that country, their suffering coming into your heart darkness, confusion, all of those things into your heart, and then like a shadow, and then the light of love and kindness and compassion completely transforming the darkness into light and love. And imagine sending that out like light rays, like the sunshine, rays of light spreading throughout the whole country to every sentient being. And then to the whole world, all the beings in the whole world, wherever they are, every country, every being, on land, in the sea, in the skies above, every being, and whatever suffering they have, coming to you, into your heart, into the heart of the Buddha, whose great wisdom and compassion and kindness, loving kindness, completely transforms all the suffering. Like it just becomes light. When the light is shining on it, there is no darkness left. It all becomes light. And imagine that light shining out from your heart, from the heart of the Buddha within your heart, and out around the entire universe, the world, the universe, especially this planet, our home. Not only the beings on it, but the actual planet itself. All the damage we've done, imagine healing it, repairing and healing, enriching the whole planet. This is our wish, our aspiration. This is where it starts, in our hearts and minds. And then it has such power, such energy to guide us. So our actions are done with wisdom and loving kindness. And visualizing the whole earth being touched by this wisdom and loving kindness, the earth and sea and sky, and resting in this feeling of interconnection with the earth and with everything on it, every being on it. We are all connected. And so this is to realize that interconnection, to be familiar with it, to acknowledge it, to bask in it, this beautiful network of loving kindness and wisdom, and resting in that spacious awareness. And so here we are again, back in the shrine room, or wherever you are on planet Earth. Hopefully feeling the strength of our interconnection more vividly. We are interconnected, but sometimes we forget that, and it's easy to do, especially during these times of COVID. Some people, I'm one of them, live on our own, and it's easy to get feel a bit cut off. But actually, we are all interconnected, and so when we do this Tonglen taking and sending meditation, I think it brings that to mind more, to acknowledge our interconnection. Everything is interconnected. Every morsel of food you eat is because somebody else has grown it, isn't it? And somebody else has packaged it or sent it, and maybe somebody else has cooked it. And everything that we do, every thread of clothing somebody else has made. It has grown somewhere else on the planet. So we are completely interdependent. And the more we realize that, the stronger we feel, the more happier we feel, actually, the more joyful we feel. It doesn't matter whether we're black or white or grey or blue or pink, whatever colour. What's the big deal? We are just beings interconnected by living on this home, this planet home of ours. So it's one thing to kind of know it intellectually, but when you feel it in your heart, then it becomes really powerful and strong, and allows us to act in a wise way. And this little meditation that we did today, we can do it for ourselves. You all have good imagination and visualization, so why not use it? Better than the TV. And so we'll finish by dedicating the merit of our practice and to share it with all sentient beings. There's just this little short prayer we can say. By this merit may I obtain omniscience, defeat the enemy wrongdoing, and so free all beings from the ocean of existence, with its stormy waves of birth, aging, sickness, and death. So thank you for coming online or on this special day. But every day is special, and if we're aware and tuned in, then let every day be Earth Day. Thank you. Go well.